Let's go.
All right, we are here to talk. It's I'm thinking about maybe we do our quarterly game of the year predictions for what we think the industry is going to pick for game of the year. But we never talk about what we think. What our game of the year personally is. And I know we save that for the end of the year to do the whole ranking to keep it all nice and behind the veil and to I don't know what the hell I'm saying. We try to keep that hidden until the end of the year. But I figured, hey, we're early in the year. Things are going to change. Why not talk about what our games of the year so far are? Loon, 2025 looking pretty stacked. How you feeling about the competition on the market so far?
Yeah, it's there's one game that's coming out later this month, which I think I would find very surprising if it doesn't end up probably being my game of the year, but it's not obviously out yet. So I'm also at a little bit of a disadvantage compared to you. I've played less releases this year than you have, so my pool is smaller, but that's why we kept it to one honorable mention and then one what we think is the front runner. So
Yeah,
yeah, so I'll
quick
kick
little
it
video.
kick it over to you as your what do you call it?
Honorable
Your honorable
mention.
mention. Yep.
All right, so yeah, gonna try to get this just like quick little video out talking about our game of the year. And we wanted to give a shout out to one game. And I'm not saying honorable mention being necessarily number two on my list. I don't know that specifically just yet. I would think it's very close, if not number two. But I want to give a shout out to this game called Cabernet. It is an indie RPG 2D side scroller at times where you're going from lady into bat, luring people into your seductive gaze as you draw blood from their neck and restore your health, and having to trick people, having to manipulate people, but also, if you want to, trying to preserve as much of your humanity as possible in the process. It is truly all up to you in Cabernet. Do I sound like the marketing lady yet? It is truly. But it really is a game that is all about freedom and choosing different options and choosing what you want to do in this very small play space. And I've always thought that was such a cool idea that we don't see often from indies because, like, of course, it's very, very difficult. And I think that you see that clearly in the Cabernet because it is a bit broken. I think they've cleaned it up quite a bit since the last time I played it. When I first played it, I played through the first 15 hours and the game totally bricked out on me. I couldn't get an ending whatsoever. Went back a couple weeks later, finally got an ending, but the ending that I wanted to get, I couldn't get that ending because it bricked out on me. So it's really hard for me to give this game. I think that if this was fully polished day one when I played it, was able to go through it, complete it in its intended form, this might be my game of the year. This is, even with what I've played, even with how busted it is, personally, it is probably my favorite indie game I've ever played. But with that being said, this is a game that I couldn't recommend. Like, I can't put this in at my number one slot because I can't recommend it universally because it is, from my last experience with it, it was still broken. So, broken to an extent, finishable at least, but broken to an extent. So I couldn't give it my number one. It feels cyberpunkish.
Yeah.
Not to that, it's not broken on a cyberpunk day one level. Like the game is still playable, functional, but it feels like, oh, I see what's there. What's there is fan fucking tastic, but you can't launch games like that. And I don't care if you're indie, AAA, whatever. Of course, I have more sympathy for an indie developer, but you're releasing a game and you're charging people money for it. You got to do better. However, man, I loved that experience. So my honorable mention is to Cabernet. I'm gonna I bought it again on Xbox just recently, just because I want to have a new slate of achievements to go through and just, yeah, I've
you
Loon fucking
you got the
infected me.
itch. You got the itch. It's
So
beautiful.
the Cabernet, I'm gonna play through it again before the end of the year, I assume, and we'll talk about it whenever the time comes. But what's your honorable mention, my friend?
So, like I said, haven't played all that many new releases. My new release library pool, I can quickly flick through it as the Xbox is up. I believe I have Sniper Elite that I could have picked, which is definitely not going to be getting picked. Um, it's not a bad game. It's not great. Oh, oh
Uh-oh.
no! Hold
Gotta
on,
make a pivot. You
hold
gotta make a
on,
pivot.
hold on, people. Hold on.
I'm trying to think what it could possibly be.
There's only one. Right, give me time.
No, you're good. I'll talk while
Um,
you try to go. And this is the beauty of on the fly editing. You can do this shit in a moment's notice. Now I'm gonna go to your
how
trophies or your achievements to
how
see what it
did
could
I
possibly be.
forget this, guys? I've been trumpeting this game.
Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. Can I
Mm-hmm.
guess? Can I guess?
You can.
Warriors Abyss.
Yep.
I
Yes,
bought that too,
sir.
based on your rec.
I have so many damn videos.
Loon is doing all the behind the scenes work
Yeah, I
for us.
apologize.
No, dude, don't, dude. That's the beauty of independent media. This is true independent media. Two dudes trying to fucking do all this shit on our own. I think people want the authenticity. They don't want that overly produced, hyper fucking, you know.
Whew. Right. So, yeah, it. I will. What I'll say is, I originally was going to give the nod to Split Fiction. Nah, no chance. This game kicks its ass. Um,
Jesus.
yeah, the praise that I gave it was it's the most addictive non-card based roguelike I've played since Isaac. Like this game is so damn addictive. Couldn't put it down. Just loved playing with the different characters. They had decently varied things. It's not perfect, don't get me wrong, but it's the I think the reason I fell in love with it as much as I did because it's the type of title that's dropped out of nowhere and I had zero expectations. I don't care for the Dynasty Warriors games. I don't care for the Samurai Warriors games. This has made me want to care, and that's the best thing that a game can do. Is dropping a new release and pinching a new fan for a series because it's got me looking at like I'm not going to go out and buy Dynasty Warriors. Was it Origins that came out?
Yep.
I'm not going to go out and buy that full price, but when that goes on sale, I'm going to be for sure like slipping in there and giving it a go. Like, yeah, the feelings this game has you do with like how powerful you are at all times is just unmatched.
I played it and got ate alive by the first boss, and I was like, "Oof, I gotta make sure I bring my A game before I jump back into this thing."
So what I will say is it kind of that's the weakest part of the game. The boss fights aren't particularly well executed. They're very spongy, which is probably what you encountered.
Oh yeah.
Um, as well as you're not going to beat them first time. That's just not going to happen. Um, it's a game where you're constantly getting stronger. Every time you finish a run, you're being given crystals, which allow you to buy new heroes. Every time you buy a hero, you get a passive stat upgrade for every hero globally. So you're constantly getting more and more stronger. But yeah, that's something. If they're gonna look at supporting this and stuff, because they've even added some new characters already. I saw. I can't remember from what series. I don't. I'm not familiar with the series, but if they're gonna be looking at it to support it, they do need to either add because the boss fights don't vary. That is it.
Right.
Whatever boss fights you're doing are going to be the boss fights you're going to be doing forever at this current
Hmm.
stage. There's no. It's not like Isaac where you play the game, you unlock new areas, and then new bosses come in and stuff like that. There's just none of that. So it's like I can see where they're trying to go with this, but it's not a flawless product. But for me, couldn't put it down. So
Yeah.
got to give it its props.
That's one I definitely got to get back to. I was enjoying it a good deal when I was playing it, but I got to get back to it and really get my A game ready to go in there and get ate alive by some of those bosses. Well, I guess it's time to talk about the correct game of the year, sir, as you just so dismissively swapped it to the side, threw it off the bridge as Loon got rid of Split Fiction to talk about damn Dynasty fucking what is it? Warriors Abyss. Warriors Abyss. Gonna disrespect Split Fiction for Warriors Abyss. Split Fiction is the best game of 2025, Loon. I don't know what you're talking about over there. You and I played it together, and now you're you haven't seen the light, my friend. I don't know what to tell you. Uh, it to me this is when I was playing this thing, I had this feeling where I was like, is this a 10 out of 10 when I finished it? And I haven't had that feeling since like Red Dead 2. I was like, oh, this
Damn.
is a 10 out of 10. Because I was sitting there trying to think about what is my nitpick of Split Fiction, and you can go to the story, but I sat there and I got like a little not teary eyed, but a little misty eyed with one of the beats that was it with the story. And I think if you really want to kind of dive into the story, there's a lot of interesting themes about AI in there, and there's some shit in Split Fiction that I think is a little bit deeper than people give it credit for. I'm not saying the story is why you're there, but I loved that theme of like having to write your dad healthy so that because that's the only way you can see him as such. And like there's beautiful shit in some of the small like little one-liners.
Hmm.
But the gameplay is just unmatched in my opinion. It is, and I've talked about this as well, so I apologize for being redundant, but that idea of people being like, how is gaming going to evolve to compete with the TikToks and the reels and the shorts and this generation of gamers who want instant gratification? And it's like, oh, if you make a game that's fun every fucking minute and doing something new every 10 minutes, it's like, yeah, I guess that is a way to keep someone's attention. Just keeping it very, very fun. Who would have thunk? And it's like I know that shouldn't be the most groundbreaking revelation, but this is a game that I think can appeal to everyone because no matter if your attention span is, uh, TikTokified or if you have a regular fucking, 40-year-old man, 50-year-old, but like if you have been consuming games your whole life, you will enjoy this. Or if you've never consumed a game in your life, you will enjoy this. Maybe it's a little bit hard for like newcomers to, it could maybe be a little bit too difficult, but I don't know. I mean, you respawn if you die, unless you both die at the same time, and it's not like you're having to replay entire levels or anything. It's not, I don't know. This was like setting off different revelation sort of bells in my head where I'm like, that is brilliant game design. Not to mention I don't want to get into the spoilers, but the SSX tricky inspiration in there, and the Harry Potter inspiration in there, and the Charlie Chocolate Factory, Willy Wonka, whatever. Like, it's so crazy, man. So crazy. So, yeah, that is my game of the year for 2025 so far. And I do not see that being dethroned unless the big dog actually comes out to play, which I don't think it's going to. So, we'll see.
Wow. Okay, really? I didn't I know you like really like clicked with it, but that's a hell of a statement.
Do you remember what I said at the end of our stream?
I know, but like there's other games coming out.
I said at the end of our stream, I was like, I think this might be the greatest game of all time. Like, and I don't, that's hyperbole, but it is legitimately up there where I just had a smile on my face. It reminded me of what I love about gaming. It's
That's
just
great,
that,
man.
that happiness, man. Like this, I escaped from everything for that little bit of time where I was just genuinely happy playing that thing. So yeah, it's number one for me.
Man.
I will, okay, let me be clear. Mafia, I'm a big Mafia head. So if Mafia does something just to reinvent the wheel totally, okay, there's some things on the 2025 is stacked. No doubt. There's some really big games on the way.
Hmm.
But like I don't see myself giving it to a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, you know? Like I don't know.
I know I respect it more than anything. It's crazy to me because you rarely hear a co-op game get a nod that heavily.
Yeah.
Like that should speak volumes. Like you, it's the kind of thing where it's weird because co-op games usually get an easier ride when you turn around and go, oh, it's like Resident Evil 6. Oh, it's not a good Resident Evil, but it's fun to play co-op.
Yep.
But they never really like breach past that as like a piece of praise. They never get like, oh, it's World Game of the Year. And I know like It Takes Two kind of broke that mold for many people, but it's still a rarity.
Very,
So that's
very
crazy.
rare. But my friend, what is your game game of the year? I'm choking.
Um,
What is your game of the year?
well, it does so many things uniquely. Um, we don't see many of these all that much. Wish we had more. No, I'll stop. So it's Assassin's Creed Shadows, and I know there's gonna be people that are like, "What the hell?" It's just, look, man, we like what we like. I do really enjoy the newer types of Assassin's Creed games with the RPGs, mechanics and stuff. My biggest complaints in Valhalla have been addressed, and that was my biggest problem was the length. Like being 120 hours in with Valhalla and not being like anywhere near the it's ridiculous. So I think I'm 50 or 60 in. I technically rolled credits, but I've not finished the game.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that. I didn't know you would technically roll credits.
And see, I have a critique about that. It's I finished Yasuke's side of the story, and it gave me the credits. Naoe's story isn't over. Like, why are you rolling credits, Ubisoft?
Ah,
What the hell are you
interesting.
doing? So I do have complaints about that. There's certain things that, of course, that they can improve on, but for what it is, I just adore it. It helps with it being. I think I said it in the monthly rankings thing. If you're really invested in a setting, that's where Assassin's Creed gets you more so than anything. Because I'm a massive Assassin's Creed fan, but I don't care for like Assassin's Creed 3, for instance, because I just don't find the setting interesting. I find it a slog to play through that game. This was just so well paced in so many aspects, and it was nice to have like them little nuggets and stuff that it's feeding you. I know you didn't really gel with it and stuff, but just learning about like tea etiquette and stuff like that is just interesting to me. I like seeing different cultures. I like also learning because I know some of the names, but I didn't know that there was crossover. And what I'll give like an example for of is Oda Nobunaga. I know was like paired with Yasuke kind of thing. He was, but I didn't know Toka. I think his name is Tokugawa. No, Ayasu something. I can't remember his name like outright, but I didn't know that that was a crossover in that time period. And I remember saying that in the video because I've got the whole everything narrative in the game is being uploaded to my channel via Let's Play, and it was like, huh. And that's the kind of things that I love to see in Assassin's Creed games is when you give me historical figures and just give me that like little bit of a nugget and stuff like that. I just find that enjoyable personally.
Yeah, I loved the Nobunaga Yasuke early introduction stuff. I really dug that. I kind of wish I could have just played like a how Yasuke kind of evolved into that role of like right hand man, and that would have been really sick to just play a 15-hour version of that. Um, I've been debating going back to it and
I
just playing.
I wouldn't.
No.
I don't. The thing it's not. I can tell it's not for you. The things. This is the thing. Like it's a game of the year for me, but it's not going to be for 85% of people.
Right.
because I'm giving it a lot of leeway because of the things that I want from an Assassin's Creed game. Is why it's like skating by, and I fully understand that it is bias, and you know it is what it is, man. We show bias to certain stuff that we
Oh
love
yeah.
and give free passes, but something I do want to ding it for is like you said with that with the stories and stuff. I want them to go back to just making the story more linear, making the story more
Yes.
structured because as I don't even know how you begin to like word it as freeing and as open as what you're doing at the moment, it doesn't allow for as impactful of a story as if you're just going through it the way it's supposed to be. And because, like I said, I rolled credits on it, there was a really cool scene that they've buried 45 hours into the game that should have been in the opening. Oh my
Oh
god, I don't
no.
know why they've saved the scene because
Flashback thing.
yeah, it's the type of thing of like because the correlation I drew to it was oh you've not played The Witcher 2 have you?
Mm-mm.
So The Witcher 2 has an intro where it rolls a cinematic before you get to the main menu and it's of Letho going it the assassin of kings. He shows you killing all the other kings. And it's this one particular king, I believe it's Demavend is the one in the video that it shows. And it's this really beautifully constructed like set piece of him going, throwing bombs and everything, and just gutting
Oh,
people at like lightning speed. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't a one to one of that like quality wise,
yeah.
but you could see that they were trying to do that. And it was like, why have you saved this to like the 45th hour? Like, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Ubisoft, you're not like a narrative powerhouse. So when you do something that's like, ooh, that needs to be at the beginning of the game. Like you need to front load that stuff. You don't have like yeah, that really
I
shouldn't
think
be tucked away that far. That's crazy to me.
that's one of the things that bums me out a lot with Ubisoft is like they used to make really compelling stories. Far Cry 3 was really compelling. You know what I mean? Beyond Good and Evil 1 was really compelling. Like they used to make stuff that you actually could get invested in a full story arc and but how can you do it when it's 100 plus AI? They have a difficult task to find that balance, but um I was debating going back to it and skipping all the story and just playing the gameplay because I do like the gameplay. The gameplay is fun. Um and I was like, is that really worth it? Do I like the gameplay enough to just do nothing but the
I mean,
gameplay?
I did. I boy, did I sit there for hours clearing them camps. But it's that just kind of thing where it how I would explain it is like fast food.
Yep.
It's not an inherent negative. Sometimes you can
No,
just go for it. Sometimes it's fine, you know. You just have that itch, and that's kind of how I feel with Shadows. I understand that it's not revolutionary, it's not groundbreaking, but I don't need every game to be a KCD2, where it's like
totally.
pay attention, incredibly deep systems and stuff, because I get that from other things. I sit there and play tons of CRPGs, so it's fine for me to take a step back and be like, yeah, I don't mind playing something that's kind of brain dead and stuff. It's like the reason why some people go and play like COD and stuff.
Well, the funny thing, Loon, is like I kind of wished it was more brain dead. When I was playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, I was starting to get glimpses of the KCD2 thing where it was like, why are you being so vague with things? Like there were moments like, yo, just tell me where to go and let me go there. Put the damn, let's go back to the maps, the
See,
map markers and the
but that's in the game, Brandon. You just have to toggle it because I toggled it, so you
Oh,
can turn that on.
really? Oh, well, damn, that changes a lot. See, I
Because
don't ever fuck with
because when I was
settings.
playing it in the Let's Play thing, I was like, this is slowing it down so much. It was like I can feel this is going to take like 15 minutes for me to fight. Like that's yeah, and I went into
Wait,
the
actually, I
sorry,
think I
go.
did turn that on. I think I did turn that on,
Yeah,
but it was later in the game.
yeah,
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
and it's just like just show me where to go. It's like if I was playing it on my own, I probably would have left that off
Right.
because I don't mind because I'm going through if I was literally playing solo, I'm going and clearing every location anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. But
Yeah.
I can understand not wanting to just yeah. You're known for just the easy route, Ubisoft. Just but it's great that's also a positive as well, like giving the option. It's good that that's there.
Yeah. Well, guys, those are our games of the year so far. Loon coming in with Shadows of the Assassins, and I coming in with the Fiction Splitter. Going to be interesting to see how it evolves throughout the rest of the year. Let us know down in the comments below, though. What are your current games of 2025 and any backlog games that you may have played for the first time in 2025 that you would say is the top of the totem pole? Because if you're smart, you're probably playing a lot of the backlog and saving some cash. So I always encourage that. Um, yeah, man, that's it from us. We appreciate you tuning in. Stay locked in, subscribe, all that stuff. Loon's channel will be in the description below. Make sure to check that out as you go. And we shall see you very, very soon. Take it easy, guys. Goodbye.
See you later.